I would like who I am today, what I've accomplished today. I couldn't have told you. Like, this wasn't even part of the plan.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought I was going to run a tax office, like a successful tax and accounting firm.
It's funny how we do that. Like, we know we're greatness, but then there are things that we can't even imagine God has for us. Can't even imagine. We just know. We just don't know. I do want to ask about the uptick though, because we were talking about we went down, and there's an uptick, right, where you didn't have the time management, but there was an uptick where you started to get a hang of it. What did that look like? How did you start to get out of that and go back up into success?
My business saved my life, and so when I quit my job, I had a business partner. And we had what's called a partner program, which is essentially a tax business in a box. It is more like more people do it now, but back then, like it was like us and like another company that did it who was like kind of big. Mm-hmm. But essentially, it's people who want to start a tax business who don't have an EFIN, which is like an electronic filing identification number, mm-hmm. and they can file through us. You know, so we provide them tax software, the training, all of that. And we don't eat unless they eat. And side note, I really love that model. That's my other business, Thrive Tax Systems. I really love that model because I have to pour into them in order for me to make money. So I don't make money unless you make money. I love that. Yeah. I love that because I have to pour into you. Yeah. So I don't benefit off of you unless you benefit off of you. It's fantastic. I love that model. I'll never change it. But
do you still do that?
Yes.
Okay,
I do. That's my other business, Thrive Tax Systems.
Okay.
But when I was, drunk and everything, I started canceling meetings and stuff, and no one even really knew because if someone went a week without talking to me, it's like, oh, well, she's busy, she's an entrepreneur, you know what I'm saying? Like, so no one know. Like, I would tell people now closest to me, and they're like, nah, no, people still don't believe me. Yeah. People still don't believe me. Yeah, I went through that. Yeah, cause I'm a very private person, but I'm gonna clean up. You know what I'm saying? But no one they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, this is what I've been going through. But I still had to pour into the partners. We had partners, so they would call me. I would talk to them, tell them what to do. Still had a little training. Sometimes I tell my business partner, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? But fast forward some months, I started getting calls, and they would call me. It was like a good 3 of them that called me crying, thanking me. Thank you so much. I did what you said, and I made this much, and I was able to quit my job at Ruby Tuesdays, and I did this, that, third. And I'm like, what? Me? What are you talking about? And long story short, at a time where I didn't see value in myself, they saw value in me. Mm-hmm. I became valuable. And I'm like, I'm having an impact on people like this. And I was fucked up doing it, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, that was the beginning. Yeah. And so I always say, without the partner program, I don't know where I would be right now because those people really made me realize that I had value and that I was transforming people's lives just from telling them my experiences, what to do to avoid that pothole, to not make a right, to make a left, I'm thinking I'm just having conversations with these people, but they was actually listening to me and they implemented what I said and it worked out. And I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? Really? Mm-hmm. And so then I was like, it took me a minute, but that was the beginning of me pulling myself out. And then I would think all right, Todd, you're at 3 feet right now. It's much easier to pull yourself from 3 feet than 6 feet. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So do it. That's why. You know what I'm saying? Just do it. And I would do it. I would fall. I would do it. I would fall. I would do it. I would fall. Honestly. Mm-hmm. But even with that, I'm like, damn, I'm persistent as hell. Like, I keep falling, but I keep trying. Like, I keep trying.
Yeah.
And so it's like, dang, God got something for me. So, like, literally recently, like, this probably the end of last year, and so it's probably coming up on a year now, I have, like, been actively in my Bible. Like, every day, every morning, I do my morning devotionals. Like, I'm actually reading the Word. Like, I've always had a church home and believed in God and everything like that, but never have I just been in my Bible, reading the Word, understanding what He wants of us. And I'm like, oh, that's it. I can do that. Mm-hmm. Being obedient. I tried 34, 35 years of doing it my way, and I got some success, but like within a few months of just being obedient, my entire life has changed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like, and it's like this is what I've been having for you, but you just so hard head, you know, and it's just like, oh, a book, a planner.
Yeah.
That was never part of the plan.
Mm-hmm.
A membership, you're right. That was never part of the plan.
Yeah.
Being a coach, I never wanted to. I used to be famous. I'm not gonna be. I can't teach nobody. I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to be a teacher. I'm a whole coach. It's essentially a teacher.
Yeah, full circle, right?
Full
Especially
circle.
Like, I don't want to be nothing related to social work or people or anything.
Yeah.
So as we talk about clarity, and your success and pulling yourself out, and now you've reached a level of clarity as a coach, what came first? Was it the membership? Was it the planner? Now, we might even talk about it, we might not, but I just think it's really cute. The mind your tax business
Yes.
Planner. Like which as you got clarity, how did your business evolve?
It evolved because I started becoming creative, and the goal was to prepare tax professionals, you know, to help them start, to be for ultimately my personal vendetta almost was to help little tots out there, you know, because I struggled I lost so much money. I struggled, I cried, just trying to figure this thing out. And I didn't have anyone like me. Like, I had mentors to teach me the tax preparation side, but the business ownership side I did not have. Mm-hmm. And so the goal was to help other people, other tax professionals, be for them what I wish I had. Just someone to get them the game. You get what I'm saying? And someone who looks like us. Yeah. Because this industry is still very much white male dominated. Mm-hmm. Accounting and tax is still very much so.
The top 3 responses that I get when I ask, why do you want to leave corporate America, are that you want financial freedom, you want to own your own time, and you want to build a legacy for this generation and generations to come. Now, this is not a solo job. In order to transition from your 9-to-5 into entrepreneurship, it's going to take community and it's going to take resources. And I've created the community of pioneers who are going to wrap around you and help you make that transition successfully. So if you're interested in leaving your job, go ahead and click that information below. Let's get into the community and let's transition from your 9-to-5 into entrepreneurship successfully. Now let's get back to the episode.
And so, especially back then, that's all. Now that I've gotten in the entrepreneur world, like, it's opened up a little more. But even with that, like, I hate mediocrity. I hate mediocrity, period. Mm-hmm. But I hate mediocre tax. Professionals, companies, fake tax gurus, all of that. It's like you're teaching our people wrong. Yeah. You don't even know the game yourself, and so it's like you teach incorrect information. They go out and do incorrect things, and then they come to me and I clean it up. Yeah, but it's like just learn it so you can teach properly. Like, it's a pet peeve. Oh, sorry, but I decided because I started to get better at business, and so. Looking outside, because the taxation industry is very small and almost closed-minded. And so I'm like, because how I even grew my business was looking at other successful business owners outside the taxation industry. Why is your business successful, period? Okay. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's too many successful people in the world who's not all in the same industry. What are y'all doing? What are y'all, So that's when I started learning about marketing and implementing systems and building a team and mindfulness and all of that. And I started trial and error, on what worked, I kept, and that's what I teach today, with my own sauce on it. And what didn't, what didn't translate well in the taxation industry, I left. And so then I forgot where I heard it from or who, but someone was like, people will pay you good for what you do, but they'll pay you more for what you know. And I'm like, is that right? Mm-hmm. And so I decided to create a course. Because I'm trying to make money in my sleep. Yeah. Because at this point in time, so this was probably about 5 or 6 years ago. At this point in time, I didn't want to do tax preparation anymore. I didn't want to be behind a computer anymore. I didn't want to, about 4 or 5 years ago, I fired all of my bookkeeping clients. So this was probably 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. I fired all of my bookkeeping and accounting clients, because I realized as long as I was working in my business, I wasn't working on my business, I couldn't grow it. Yeah. And that was kind of like taking that big leap again, because accounting, that's residual. Like, people pay you yearly for that. And I had a significant amount of accounting clients. Mm-hmm. So it was like giving up that money too, just kind of like when I left, corporate. I'm like, I cannot devote time in growing my business if I'm doing P&Ls and balance sheets and reconciliations every month, Yeah. So I gave them probably like a couple months notice, and boom, like no more accounting. Then I'm like, I don't really want to do tax preparation either. Like, mm-hmm. I had a business at this point. I had the partners. I'm like, I don't really want to do this either. Like, I just didn't have the excitement about it anymore. I knew I wanted to stay in the industry, but I'm like, this not it. Me being knee deep in tax returns, my life ended December and picking back up in May was getting old. Like, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm like, it gotta be a better way. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, I don't even know how I came up with the idea of having a course.
This was 4 years ago?
I first started selling this course probably like 3.5 years ago.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. And now the courses are so big.
Right. Yeah. And so I'm like, let me do a course, because for the part, so it probably was almost, it might have been like 4.5 years ago, because 5 years ago I quit my job. We already had the partner program. I was creating courses for them so they could, because again, I have to pour into you. The more money you make during tax season, the more money I make during tax season. Mm-hmm. So we would have weekly huddle sessions. And I would teach them marketing systems, how to build a team, how to whatever. Like, so these were like little presentations I was putting internally. And I'm like, well, people who is, you don't have to be a partner. You don't have to be my partner for you to benefit from this. And so that's where the course idea came from, now that I think about it. And I'm like, well, let me just make a course. And when I started, I'm like, what the hell did I get myself into? Because I'm a high C. I don't know if you know what that means. But
yes, absolutely. Yes, we're completely not opposites, but you're my compliment, because I'm a high.
You're high. Oh, yes. So boom, exactly. Yeah. But I'm a high C, and so the level of detail and the level of standard that I have makes me sick. Okay, so I'm just like in my Trello, like, okay, I gotta have this, but I gotta tell them about this, but I hear you had to tell them about this, but I got it done, got the course. Underpriced it. Like, I think the first round, I think I was selling that bad boy for like $2.99. I'm talking about 15 lessons, like Yeesh. Crack prices.
Yeah, right. But did it do well?
It sold. I mean, it sold, but it was $2.99.
You're like, oh yeah, no. You bet. Y'all buying too many of these. Let me raise the price.
Yeah, but then it's like, okay, so now I know how to market a tax business, mm-hmm. but I don't know how to market a course. Like, even though I'm in the taxation industry still, it's different, because now I'm dealing with digital products. Now I'm dealing with, so I had to kind of like relearn everything too, because it's like, okay, if it's a tax business, I know exactly how to market a tax business. I know exactly how to hire people to tax business. I know exactly how to, but this was different. And I would try to explain it to like my peers, and they would be like, I mean, we're still in the industry. And I'm like, I don't want to tell you anymore. Because I like, either I'm not saying something right, but it's different. Like, it's different. Yeah. So like I raised it to $4.97, whatever, and I'm about to actually relaunch it, and it's $9.97 now.
Nice.
But
will there be an affiliate code for that one as well?
I should make one. No, but a lot of my tax bosses have been asking me, so I will make an affiliate code.
Let's do it.
I love to share the wealth. You'll get 50% of it.
It'll be in the description below.
So I created the course, and then one of my partners, she got a planner done, and I've always wanted a planner. And I was like, oh, who did your planner? So she gave me the information to the girl who did her planner. So I'm talking to the girl, and she like, yeah, we're talking about planners. I'm like, well, how does this even work? Like, do you just make it up? Do I? She's like, it could be like a joint effort or whatnot. I'm like, okay, cool. And I just so happened to ask her, I said, do you transcribe? Because I was really into taking one piece of content and transferring it. So if it was video, I want to transcribe it. I want to blog it. I want to, so I was like in that mode at that time. So this was like 3 or 4 years ago. So I'm like, do you transcribe stuff today? I'm like, do you transcribe courses? She said, yeah, we could do that. I said, and put it in a book? Like, yeah, that's how I got my book. It's essentially my course with a little bit more, because my course was very, especially at that time, it was more...
this one.
Yes, the Mind Your Tax Business.
The blueprint to owning a thriving tax business.
Yes.
Thank you so much for watching the Work and Play podcast. This episode is sponsored by the Boss Up Conference, which is a community for entrepreneurs, CEOs, celebrities, and corporate executives to come together, network, and solve some problems. Thank y'all so much for being supporters of the Work and Play podcast. And thank you for watching the Work and Play podcast and all the episodes before. Now let's get back to the episode.
So that's essentially my course, but with added information and to make sure, because it's a read. You get what I'm saying? So like she did that. That process was crazy, but I'm like, I don't even know what made me ask that question, but I did. Now I have a book that's sold on Amazon, and this was like 3 years ago. It's been on Amazon for a couple of years, and then we made the planner, and the planner is so amazing because it is the perfect combination. It's so me. It's the perfect combination of like mindfulness and building your tax business, because you need both to build any type of business. Yeah. So like in my planner, I have weekly reviews, I have monthly previews and reviews, so questions that you need to answer before each month so you can mentally prepare for the upcoming month. Okay. And then to review your week and review your month to see where are you, how are you measuring your success? Sometimes we're doing so many things, we don't know if we are elevating or not. That's important. That's one thing that I learned as a business owner. Like, I don't know what I'm doing if I'm not measuring it, if I don't know where I've been. Like sometimes we think, this not working, but you look at the numbers and your conversion rate is like, but it is. Okay, I just am not seeing it, maybe monetarily or whatnot, but I have more eyes on it. It's just, it could be a few things. You have to have a way to measure things. I'm, as a high C, I got to know, like, where are we going with this and where we've been. So I know how to pivot.
This is exciting. I'm so excited. I'm like, I love like hearing the way you talk. I can tell you're a great coach, because these are some of the things that people just don't account for. One, period. Especially even in corporations, if you're not in the data side of business, you don't know that there's data that goes into every business decision. And then as entrepreneurs, you talked about like you knew your stuff as an accountant, but then you like there's so much around like marketing and things like that. But there's some people who are just like good at what they do, selling t-shirts, and they never count how many they sell. They never see how many people click the link, but they never buy. Like those kind of things.
They don't account for how much it costs them to buy the materials they needed to produce the shirt. They don't know how much time it takes to print it or whatever. All of that stuff matters. Yeah. All of it matters. And people just like, I'm just going, okay, well, come holler at me when you hit a wall.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? it's inevitable. It's something that I had to do.
Yeah.
And I hit the wall a few times.
Yeah.
Hit the wall, hit the floor. I hit the ceiling too sometimes.
Yeah.
But just been through just been through it. I've had some high highs and some low lows.
Yeah.
During my journey, and I'm at a place now where I'm just excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the unknown. I'm excited about the future. I'm more confident in what I have to offer. I know what my limiting beliefs and my fears are. I spend a lot of time trying to figure that out. Like, if I have, like with my membership, I've had the idea to have a membership for 3 years. I've paid someone that we have legitly mapped it out for the year. That was like 2 years ago. I never released it because I was scared. And I've never seen, like, no one has a membership in the taxation industry. No one. You know, Tax Boss Academy. Tax Boss Academy is my membership, and it's for tax professionals to get them ready for tax season 2022. You know, and so no one in this industry has a membership. You're right. Not a paid one. It's so crazy. Because I finally released it. I didn't even know. I had to redo my Q2 plans because I made it official like April 22nd. It was a Thursday. And how it just happened was just God all the way. Because it was something like I didn't even plan for it this year. I had other plans. And so how it happened and how everything just lined up. And I'm just like, well, I'm going to just try it and see. And it worked. Yeah. It worked. Like, people are in my membership. They're excited. I have a whole tribe that pays me monthly. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I'm sure the value that they get from that monthly, you know, like it's like when you in entrepreneurship, I actually kind of feel this way more. I never felt so emotionally tied to my money till now. But I feel like when I pour into you, but it's actually been paying off. The reason I say that, and we don't have to get too deep into my like limit. It has been a limiting belief. I remember the first time I spent $1,600 for a course. I had heart palpitations all day. But what I mean is, and you know what? It's just worked out. So maybe I still do need to like re-channel that energy. But when I pay my monthly charge into a membership, and I feel like I get 10 times more value,
it's like, oh yeah, it's nothing.
Right. But I think because I'm on the positive side of it, it doesn't feel as bad, but I probably still need to kind of detach from the investment of the money. Because I still feel like I feel like it's my money. I'm pouring into you. You're pouring into me. But there might be something in there for me to think through, because this just hasn't gone bad. I haven't had any. I'm just investing in some really great people, so
congratulations.
I got my value out, and the people who are in your membership.
Yeah, like they've invested really well, if I must say so myself, because I over deliver.
Yeah.
You know, I want you, like I think, you know, that whole like, well, what are you scared of? And I think back in the day it was like, yeah, I'm scared of success. But when I actually peeled back that layer, it's not success I was afraid of. It was the responsibility that came from success. And like this, with a membership, I take it real personally. Like, I am now responsible for these people who are in this membership. If someone isn't like doing stuff, because I can see who's doing what, I'm hitting them up. Why are you in here? I don't want your money if you're not going to do nothing. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm at a point now where it's like, I don't need your money, but if you're ready to work and change your circumstances, I'm here with you. You get what I'm saying? 100%. But it's like, I know, like, investing, that's the first step. Like, congratulations, that's the first step. But now you have to do the work in order for you to get the result that you want, which is a profitable tax business. Yeah. And I take it, you know, and I don't take it too personally, because I just don't want it. But like, it is a responsibility. I have to show up every week. You know, we have weekly meetings. I keep them engaged, make sure that I'm doing what I'm doing so they can do what they're doing, because I'm not successful if they're not successful. Like, that's literally how I feel. Like, tax season come around and they all bomb, I'm going to feel like a whole failure. and keep all alcohol away. No, I'm just playing. But like, I would feel like a whole failure. You get what I'm saying? But it was also a business move too, because one-on-one coaching is draining in a way. I love it. I love the price point, of course, you know, but I had to limit like three, like I can't do no more than like 3 a day, because I give people everything. You get what I'm saying? Like if I feel like you're paying me, then I'm gonna give it to you. And even when, you know, that's why I don't do consultations anymore, because I don't do free consultations anymore. You can pay me for an hour. I don't do free consultations anymore, because I don't know how to not give the game.
Yeah.
So people would sign up for my free consultation. I didn't mapped out their whole business plan.
And they don't even convert. Yeah, they just go off and create their business, or get another coach and create a business with someone else.
Pay someone more to pay someone else more for less. That's a whole nother episode. But like that was, I'm just like, this is so crazy. But yeah, like I take it seriously, because like I said, I don't know how to not get a game. Like if someone comes to me and asks me a question, I'm gonna be like, oh girl, well, look, this is what you do. I'm gonna give it to you. Why not? Because it's enough out here for all of us to eat and eat good at that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not for everybody, you know, and everyone is not for me. And once I became okay with that, it's like I don't care who I tell what, because either people gonna rock with me or they're not. And they can go rock with someone else. That's fine, you know, like. Because it's still it's more fake text gurus out there than not, but it's still some good ones. You get what I'm saying? It's still some good ones. Yeah. So like, if you don't rock with me, you know, rock with her, rock with him. Like they're cool too. But you know, it's what, a few billion people on this earth. Yeah. I don't need
8.4.
Yeah, I don't need 8.4 billion.
Right.
I just need a few 100,000.
Yeah,
that'd be fine. You know what I'm saying? Like that'd be fine. So like, yeah, I couldn't ever imagine the person I am today. Like it was not part of my plan. I did not choose this, because I tried to run away from it many times. When I tell you I did not choose this life, you get what I'm saying? Like, yeah, and I think that's my biggest separator. Everything that's happened, like, it's just been me being obedient. Yeah. And God saying, this is what I want you to do. No, I told you this. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Over here, it don't work. Come back. Over here, no, come. Like, a few times. I told you it takes me multiple times to learn the same lesson. Yeah. And finally, it's like, okay, I understand why I'm here. You know, I am here for essentially servant leadership. You get what I'm saying? Like, to help, especially my community, elevate in a way that I know how. Yeah. And so it's like, you know, you don't have to be a preacher or a pastor or a bishop to do God's work. Like, sometimes, you know, it's within your business. Yeah. And I've realized that now, like, oh, this does matter. Because when people call me crying and stuff because their life has been transformed, oh, this matters. Had no idea I would be this person.
You are amazing.
I had no idea. Like, it still shocks me. Like, and then people like, I don't know why. And I'm like, you know who I am? Like, you know who I was? Like, what?
Yeah. And the way you are so cool, calm, and collected, even your, it's like your dialect, your energy, you're super real, super raw. I can only imagine, like, and then you said something funny earlier. You said, when you wanted to be a criminal profiler, you said you didn't want your family to turn on you. I said, oh yeah, we probably have so much more. We have probably so much
they
more.
Gonna be like, don't talk to Ty, you know, she the ops now. I'm still trying to come to the family barbecue.
Right.
You know, and then y'all looking at me like, oh, everybody put it up because,
Right.
you know, like, no.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Never would have guessed.
Yeah.
Never. No.
Yeah.
Never.
I have really appreciated hearing your story. I think there's someone who really either identifies with your story and is already an entrepreneur, or someone's still in corporate America and they still haven't even necessarily thought about.
I've gotten so many questions about this brand, and I'm super excited to share that this episode is sponsored by Black is Wealth Clothing. Now, Black is Wealth was created to inspire and empower our culture to tap into our wealth. Now, when we talk about wealth, we're not just talking about financial wealth, we're talking about the strength, resilience, and brilliance that lives inside of all of us. Now, by tapping into our wealth, we can create any form of wealth that we desire. So, if you like this shirt or any other shirt that you've seen me sport on my Instagram or any other platform, then go check them out at blackiswealth.com. I love this one, and y'all are going to love it too. Now let's get back to the episode.
They haven't translated that feeling of there's more or I am great to an action. Not even whatever the action could be, but to an action, to do something about it.
Yeah.
So, and even what I love about your story the most, specifically for this context, is, you know, the Work and Play podcast is the Work and Play podcast because I don't necessarily believe it's a balance. You're not balancing work and play. It's merging. If you don't have fun while you're working, why are you working? And you talk about the positives of your life. A lot of us do. But what people need to understand is there's a journey to get there. And I hope what people really understand through hearing your story is that you can totally reach that work and play. I'm not trying to make this a fairy tale dreamland. It is totally possible to live, work, and play. It is totally possible to enjoy your life. It is totally possible to live your dreams, but there's a journey. And as long as you're willing to live that journey and test yourself and be self-aware and grow, you can reach this same level.
Because everything that you just said, it wasn't always like this.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't. I think, like, people ask me, like, you know, what would you tell other people? Be yourself. I always thought that, like, me and my personal life and me in business could never merge because I went to college, I got a degree, I was in corporate America, I had so much conditioning. Mm-hmm. And so the conditioning was you have to talk like this, you have to act like this to be successful. So even when I became an entrepreneur, I'm like, okay, well, I have to talk like this, I have to be like this to be successful. Financially successful. And I started to realize that wasn't true. But I had been conditioned, so like that deconditioning process is something that people don't talk about when you're coming from corporate America. Yeah. It's a totally different situation. And when you are so used to almost like putting on a facade, because when you go to these interviews and you do all of this, you actually, I'm not saying that you shouldn't present yourself in your best light, but you're in between parameters. Right. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And one thing that stuck with me was when I was in high school, I never forget this girl. And everyone who knows me knows the story already. It's so funny. But she was like, you'll never be nothing because you don't know how to enunciate. And because I got my little southern twang and I don't enunciate shit. But that, unbeknownst to me, like stayed with me. So when I became an entrepreneur and I had speaking engagements and trainings, like I would hear myself. And I would try to talk differently, and I would try to be different, and I would try to, and by doing that, the message didn't land. I wasn't getting the message that I wanted people to hear out because I'm so focused on, dang, I didn't enunciate there. Dang, I just let that slide. Dang, I just said, I just said ain't, I just said y'all. That's how I talk in my normal life. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, be yourself. Like, it took me a while to just be like, you know what? I can't change how I talk. Yeah. I can improve it because eventually I want to be paid for speaking. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to get a coach and, just because there's always room for improvement. Mm-hmm. But once I became okay with, I can't change how I talk.
Yeah.
I can't, like, without the message being held hostage. You get what I'm saying? Like, because I'm so focused on my delivery that I'm not focused on the words I'm saying and teaching people how I really want to teach them, because I said y'all, or I said ain't, or I said, you know what I'm saying, or I said a curse word. This is me. You get what I'm saying? And so once I started to love me in that manner, and it kind of translated into my business, then the people who rock with me.
Yeah. The definition of success has changed.
Like, yeah, it has. And it probably always was that, but my conditioning said otherwise.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And so
I would say
but it has changed.
Yeah, because I think the best person who was good at the best person who was good at being another person, that was success. Like, you could be a whole person outside of the camera, like, especially for in front facing positions. The best person who was able to present themselves in a certain package was the winner.
And that package was predetermined and predefined, and anything outside of that package was not considered success. Yeah. And so everyone tried to be this package. I never forget, like, Oprah's story. She used to talk about, like, when she started to do her thing, her idol was Barbara Walters. And so she used to try to be like Barbara Walters or whatnot. And so at a point in time, she realized, I can be a better Oprah than I can be a fake Barbara Walters. And so that's when she started being herself. And now look at her. You get what I'm saying? And so it's like, I can be a better Tot, because no one can do me like I do me. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Like, no one can, and that's with everybody. Like, be yourself. Yeah. Because people are going to rock with you. Yeah. You know, I hate to use the word authentic because it means so much, but now it's like a whole, like, catchphrase and everything. Right. You know, be authentic and authentic. But it still has some power to it. And it's true. You know, you still want to lead with your best foot forward and all of that. I'm not going to be like raw Tot from the West Side everywhere I go. You get what I'm saying? But if I'm talking, we having a conversation or whatnot, like, I can be myself. I can be myself, because that doesn't take away from what I offer and how I transform people's lives. Like, I have a certain knowledge, skill set, and experience that I know is valuable, point blank period, no matter how I'm talking. And so I transform people's lives no matter how I talk. I've been doing it with this voice and with this non-enunciation, you know, so, like, I'm going to continue.
Absolutely. I could not have had a better conversation for today. You guys have definitely got a lesson. You guys have gotten a word. And I honestly feel like if you replay this, it's a step-by-step process of what to expect when you do make that transition. That deconditioning thing, I'm going to have to write that down as well. So one of the things that you kind of did it, but you kind of already, like, answered this question, but I want to ask you directly before we get out of here, because as you have these Nairobi earrings on, you definitely are going to feel this.
My black is beautiful.
Yes. So as we, the question that I ask typically as we close out is, so I got this is from Sankofa, where as we move forward, as we walk forward, we always have to look back. We have to reach back and carry someone who's either on their journey or not even started on their journey, and kind of say something or do something to pull them forward. Never forget your past. Never forget your history. So as you think about your history, our history, and where you are today, and even where you want to go in the future, right? What is that word that you would share with us that would help them make a decision or even prepare for their journey ahead?
It's a few things. So if I'm, it's a few things. So first I just want to give them a hug. But if I had to say one thing for someone who's maybe on the fence or who just needs something to hear for their journey is,
Hey guys, it's Ariel from the Work and Play podcast. If you're getting any value from this channel, and I mean anything from the tutorials to the podcast to the random videos that you see on this channel, then I just ask that you do one thing. Please subscribe. Subscribe and share this to anyone that you think this resonates with, and drop a comment below so I know what other things that you want to see next. Now let's get back to the episode.
Do your best to get in alignment, whatever that means to you. Whether that's God, whether that's the universe, whether that's energetically, because when you are in your zone of genius, when you are aligned, everything becomes so clear and you can better navigate your path. And don't worry about anyone else's path. Like, your journey is your journey. It's not a race. Okay, like, I hate to be cliche, like, it's a marathon, not a sprint, but don't look at other people's journey, because you don't know what they've been through, what internal work they've done to get to where they're going. So just be in your own lane, experience everything, take everything on the chin, essentially, and learn. When you're at your lowest point, that's when you strategize. That's not the time to woe is me and all of that. That is the time to be like, to look internally. How did I get here? How am I going to get out? Get in alignment, and then you'll find a way. That's the one thing I can say. Get in alignment. I know that's like a catchphrase nowadays too, but research it. Like, listen to people talking about getting centered and aligned and all of that, because it matters. It matters. And that's how opportunity comes to you too. That's how you stop chasing opportunity and opportunities come to you.
Yeah. Well, if you do want to get aligned and you have connected with Miss Tatiani from her story, from the tax business side of things, and you want to get aligned, you want to figure out what that means outside of researching, I always say cut that learning curve a little bit and reach out to the person that you want to help you with that. So, Miss Tatiani, how can they connect with you or work with you if they want to learn more?
Sure. I'm most active on my IG at Tatiani Favors, but I'm at Tatiani Favors on all platforms. But like I said, I'm most active on IG, or you can go to my website, www.mindyourtaxbusiness.com. But it's in the link of my bio, so.
Love it. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you for joining me on this couch today.
Thank you for inviting me. I had such a good time. And you got an exclusive out of me, girl. I ain't talking about none of this stuff publicly. So,
I appreciate it. Y'all be good. Go out there and be great. And until next time, peace out.
Peace.